Episode 136 of Australia's #1 marketing show. Listen in as social entrepreneur Daniel Flynn of Thankyou Water takes on the big boys in the crowded bottled water market and makes the world of difference.
Welcome to the Small Business Big Marketing Show, where successful small business owners share their secrets to take your marketing to the next level. Now here's your host, Tim Reid.
G'day everyone and welcome back to another episode of Australia's favourite small business marketing show. I am your host, Timbo Reid. You right there, much more importantly, are a motivated small business owner wanting to crank out some great marketing without spending a fortune. And we are brought to you by people who can help you do that. Net Registry, the very good folks at Net Registry, help you get your business sorted online. Domain name hosting, website design and development, pay-per-click advertising, SEO, you name it, guys. That is the crowd to turn to. And you can visit them at netregistry.com.au, or you can go to smallbusinessbigmarketing.com, click on the Net Registry banner and be taken to some exclusive listener packages. And welcome to everyone from the Flying Solo community. Net Registry and Flying Solo, top of mind at the moment. I have just come back from 3 days in Sydney, where I spoke at the Mortgage and Finance Association of Australia, big convention at the Sydney Convention Centre in Darling Harbour. Went down a treat. But what I also did whilst in Sydney was catch up with some people. Now, that sounds like an obvious thing to do, but what I've been doing lately is just keeping, I'm using Evernote on my iPhone, my iPhone 4, because my iPhone 5 got stolen on my old iPhone 4. I use Evernote, and I've got little folders, one per state, where when I think, hey, I should catch up with that person next time I'm in Brisbane or next time I'm in Sydney, I just make a note of it. So, and that's what I did when I was in Sydney this week. I caught up with Karen from Net Registry. Fantastic. Just kind of reviewed the sponsorship, went over some things. That was a wonderful thing to do. She reported back, by the way, that they are getting lots and lots of inquiry from the sponsorship, which, I was hoping was the case. You never know, but they're really enjoying the partnership. It's a match made in heaven. I caught up with Robert Garish from Flying Solo, who owns Flying Solo. He also is loving the mutuality. I don't know what the word is. He's loving the partnership. And I caught up with some other people that, it's just a good thing to do. Often we just kind of, we set the meetings with people on projects that we're working on and forget to maybe catch up with past clients or, potentially future clients and do that type of thing. So I spent a whole day just catching up with people that haven't got necessarily any work on with at the moment, but was just nice to catch up. Suggest you do the same. Speaking at the Mortgage and Finance Association of Australia conference was great. I presented a keynote called How to Punch Way Above Your Marketing Weight, because that's what I'm all about. That's what this show's all about. And it was really well received. Just a great reminder that, sometimes we kind of forget that what we know within our particular industry is a lot. And when you share it with others, it's a real eye-opener. And that's exactly what the kind of feedback from the crowd was at that convention yesterday. So that's a good thing. Now, I've got Daniel Flynn coming up, basically, from Thankyou Water, which is, it's an inspiring interview. It is an inspiring interview, I've got to tell you. But I'm going to come to that in a minute once I cover a bit of listener feedback and a listener question. I've got some listener feedback from Warwick Bidwell. Warwick is a funny guy. Warwick says, "Hey Timbo, just wanted to say how stoked I am to have found your podcast a few months ago. I've gone back and listened to almost all your previous episodes and now literally sweat on each one as you release it." I love that. That means I'm building a brand because Warwick is emotionally engaged with the small business, big marketing world. I like that. As a business coach and mentor, it's often hard to find good quality, relevant content for me to digest and keep my own knowledge ahead of my clients. You help me do that in just 1 hour a week. Beautiful. Like brushing your teeth. I'm so impressed with it and find it so useful, I've stopped ripping off your tips and tools. Thanks, Warwick. I really appreciate that. And started referring my clients directly to your website. It's funny, I had a lady approach me after the talk yesterday, and I said, at the end of the talk, I think often I say in the show as well, may your marketing be great marketing. And she came up to me after, she said, have you trademarked that? I said, no, it's just a sign off that I use when I speak. And she said, do you mind if I use it? I thought, well, you know what? No, I don't, because I don't own it. But hey, if you're going to use something you find from someone else, at least give them credit for it. So that's what I said to her. So Warwick now says, he says, it saves me repurposing your content and then you get the kudos as well. I'm a big believer in the whole give it to get philosophy. Yeah, me too. Me too. Got to do more of it. We do give to get. The universe always delivers back. He says, anyway, here's my question. Have you ever thought about paying me a commission? I've sent at least half a dozen people to your site in the last 30 days. Yeah, well, I appreciate that, Warwick. But he then goes on to say, just kidding, mate. Love your work and will happily continue to promote it for free. Well, Warwick, you are a very, very generous human being, mate, and thanks for being a part of the tribe. Now we've got a question from Christian, and Christian says, I've been listening. He says, hi, Timbo, I've been listening to your show for some time and find it very interesting, as marketing is not my strong suit. Well done for recognising that, Christian. I think so often we kind of maybe just go and sort of barge ahead as if we know it all, but often we don't. So good on you for recognising that. That's a first step ahead. A bit over a year ago, I was made redundant as an accountant and decided to start my own bookkeeping business. I didn't have big bucks to start the business and needed to get some good customers fast, and that I struggled with. After a short while, I took a casual job to ease the finances and stayed home with the 2 kids, which turned out into a full-time job while running the business on the side. I was happy with this until I had my good clients, and then I planned to leave this job. As I was time poor, I didn't have a chance to get out more, and so my clients came from referrals from existing clients. Well, that's a good thing. Last week I was told that my job would be cut back, so now it's time to get serious about the bookkeeping business. Can you advise me on what marketing I should do for my new bookkeeping business? Great question, Christian. Well, number of things. Number one, listen to episode 135, where I talked to Heather Smith about how to promote a professional services business, and she is in the financial game herself. So that would be a good episode to listen to, take copious notes. Number two, I would suggest, Christian, consider identifying a niche. So be the bookkeeper for health professionals or be the bookkeeper for travel agents and really go about it that way and stand up as being, the thought leader in that category. Because, every industry has its own little kind of, differences and own particular set of needs, and you could be the guy who owns and understands them. Number three, I'd get really clear on your offer. Yes, you're a bookkeeper, but what problem are you solving for your clients? And get really clear on that. Think from an emotional point of view and think from a benefit-driven point of view. Bookkeeping's all about having receipts everywhere and it's a mess and you're always struggling at the end of the quarter to get it all together so it's in good position, ready for the accountant. You save people time. You get people's finances in order. You take the pain away from what is, for most people, put my hand up for this one, just a pain in the you-know-what. So be clear on what your offer is, benefit-driven, emotional. I'd get a website. If you're going to spend some dough, and it looks like you don't have a lot of dough to spend on marketing, Christian, who does, are small business owners, but get a website, create useful content, put useful information on it, create a blog, have a blog at least to express your opinions about the industry you're in. And if you do decide to go down that niche, speaking about specific topics in regards to that niche and their bookkeeping needs. Number 5 is a kind of negative tip, if you like, and that is don't fall into the trap of social media. So many guys like you just go and, going to start a business. I'm going to open up a Facebook and a Twitter and it will be happy days. Well, it won't be happy days because social media just doesn't work like that, By all means, go and open up, a Twitter or a Facebook or whatever you want to do there, but don't see it as the panacea. Don't see it as the silver bullet because it ain't. You've got to do some other things. I'd be more interested in you getting into having a website, having it SEO'd so that it's ranking well around keywords. So, bookkeeper vets or bookkeeper dentists or bookkeeper travel industry, whatever it may be, and going about things that way. Good luck with it, Christian. Thanks, mate, for the question, and thanks for being a part of the show. All right, guys, it is time for our fireside chat this week, and it is with Daniel Flynn. Been mentioning Daniel over past episodes that he's coming up. This is it, guys. As I said previously, we don't need another bottled water in this world, but Daniel has found a really good twist on that. He's a social entrepreneur, and he really is making waves in the bottled water category. A little pun there just to lead into the interview. You know what, guys? I won't say much more. Suffice to say that file this interview under moments of inspiration. When you are feeling like you need a bit of a kick up the bum, go back to episode 136, this episode, and have a listen to this fireside chat with Daniel Flynn from Thankyou Water, because he is doing the world of good. Here's Daniel. Daniel Flynn from Thankyou Water, welcome to Small Business Big Marketing.
Good morning, Tim. Thanks for having us on the show.
Mate, it is an absolute pleasure. Now, first of all, congratulations on winning the Victorian Young Achiever Award last week.
You're on the ball, Tim. You're keeping up with the latest.
Mate, it's my job. Now, what's an award? Whose award was that? And what's an award like that mean to you, Daniel, and to the brand Thankyou Water?
Look, the awards were run, the sponsors were Channel 7, Nova FM, and a couple of other big sponsors. I think Harcourts, they had sponsored my category. And I suppose it was a huge honour to get it. It was actually a big surprise. I mean, the people in the room, some of the stories in that room were just remarkable. And so we sat back thinking, oh, yeah, there's no chance we'd win this. Somehow we got chosen. And I suppose for us, it really raises the profile of what we do amongst that community, but also, it gives us more angles into the media and just getting our story out there more. But yeah, huge honour to win it.
So there's some pretty emotional stories in that room. What set you apart?
Look, it's a good question. I was scratching my head a little bit, to be honest with you, Tim. It was, there's some really, inspiring stories of people who'd overcome so much to get where they are. I think what maybe got it for us is, our journey is everything we've set up is about helping other people. So it's not so much a personal achievement of won so many gold medals or whatever. It's more of, we've set up an organisation that exists to help, thousands and one day millions of people get clean water. And I think, that mixed in with our business model being quite unique, that probably helped.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, let's talk about that then. So I'm guessing you're a man on a mission. I've spoken, we earlier this year, we spoke to Rebecca from Street, another social enterprise.
Yep.
She was also on a mission, ex-CSIRO scientist who'd gone, you know what, stuff it, I'm going to save the world.
Love it.
What problem moved you so much that you felt you needed to create an entire business, career, life out of it?
That's a good question, Tim. Look, when it first started, I mean, there wasn't really any plans that big in the sense of, future and career. It just started with this idea, and, ideas are powerful when they're good. And this idea was, in our world, 900 million people don't have access to clean water. Now, I came across that when I was 19 years old going into first year uni, and I was shocked. I knew there was issues in the world, but it just seemed almost too big. And you learn about 4,500 kids dying every day from waterborne disease. And I remember reading some of these stories and watching videos of kids who'd spend their whole day going to collect water for their family. And I thought about it, well, hang on a second, here I am, I'm at uni, I've got a 5-year plan, all this stuff I want to do with my life and career. But other young people, they'll never get that opportunity because they're stuck collecting water. And then it gets a bit worse, some of these stories where kids bring the water home, it ends up killing their siblings. And I suppose I had a bit of one of those crazy moments where I put myself in their shoes, and I'm sitting in front of my computer crying, literally thinking of my twin sisters that are younger than me, and just going, man, imagine that. I'm brought in Africa. I help them. I think I'm helping them every day. I watch them die. Then I find out it was the water I got them killed them. And so this was like one of those moments where I was like, it's just it's not right. And particularly when we have an industry like bottled water, which I know this sounds a bit crazy, Tim, but I'm the first to say bottled water is a little bit silly. It's as
mate, I'll go as far as saying it's a saturated marketplace.
Yeah, I like what you said.
Sorry,
very clever. I mean, it's crazy. We get good tap water for free, yet you and me and pretty much anyone in Australia on a hot day, we're out and about. We don't have our tap there, and instead of buying a soft drink, we'll reach into the fridge, grab a water because it's healthy, and a minute later we've just paid $3 for something like that. And so the idea was, okay, let's turn this crazy industry, which does exist, into getting clean water to people who really need it.
Okay, before we talk about what is Thankyou Water, how it works, just let's go back to that time. You're sitting in front of your computer, you're in tears.
Yeah.
Most people would wipe the tears away and get on with whatever they were going to do. Some would find where they could donate some money,
Yep.
write a check out, get on a monthly debit plan with some charity.
Yeah.
You've pushed it, Daniel, and you've gone, oh, no. I'm going to start a business. I just want to understand, what was that moment where did you just jump out of your computer and ring someone, or
look,
what did you do?
Yeah, it's a good question. It was definitely a journey. It was months of a journey, and that those few moments in front of the computer, that was sparking the journey, because initially, I mean, my head wasn't even in this stuff. I know it sounds bad, but I wasn't really like a charity guy. I'd sponsored a child when I was younger, and I thought I'd done my bit for the world. But because this just got me, it just hit some things that I wasn't comfortable with. I chatted with a few close friends and told them, hey, this is what's going on. Had this idea. I mean, it's just an idea, but what if we could, turn this bottled water industry into this whole helping people? And I mean, we liked the idea. We thought, this should be out there. And because we were pretty, excited about business and growing a small business, we thought, well, imagine somehow using all that. I wouldn't call it skill or experience because we were pretty young, but that passion. And so it just grew. It grew and grew. And as the idea started to get momentum, I suppose I sat back and thought, you know what? Here's a way that we could live our life and work hard and do all the normal things you do in a business. But at the end of the day, we're actually changing the world. Like, it was just a really cool concept.
Mm. What was that first step then? Well, the first step was going, we're going to do this. Spoken to a few mates. This is big. We're going to do this. Where was that kind of moment where it got serious?
Look, it got serious. It got serious for me, just to give you a bit more background. So I grew up in church, and as a Christian, I'd learned all about, how you got to live your life for other people and all this good stuff. And looking at this whole water thing for me was like, hey, I've heard it all, but maybe here's a way I could actually do it. So for me, there was there was a lot of internal motivation to do something just bigger than me. And sitting down with friends, I remember our first meeting, one of the guys put up his hand and he said, hey, Dan, how do you even start a bottled water company? and we didn't know. So we hit Google, like any good young person, we hit Google, and we just start Googling how to start a bottled water company, and we researched for the next few months. We make some phone calls, and we discovered we needed $250,000 to get our idea off the ground. And at that point, I was ready to throw in the towel, and so was the rest of the guys, because we joke about it now, but we had a combined net worth of about $1,000. Nothing. And so 250 was insane, but we got the courage, I suppose, just in the idea itself, that what if we just start meeting with people? We booked these meetings with these contract manufacturers in the country, and as we went in, we started to just suss out more and more what we could do, and we could see it could be possible. We just need a few pretty big things to break. But, again, we're a couple of months into the journey. We'd committed a fair bit of time to it, and it just felt like it's something we should pursue.
What was $250,000 going to get you?
Well, that's a good question. Not a lot, actually. There was talks of the first $100,000 needed to cover our first, our initial run of product. So factories weren't prepared to commit to our concept or brand unless we were prepared to put money in. So $100,000 gets you your first run. Some places wanted a bit more than that. And then to get your own bottle shape, which is called a bottle mold, you're looking at upwards of 150 grand. So
what?
Yeah, it's bizarre. I mean, now at our new factory to get our own bottle shape is now 250 grand on its own. So it's quite bizarre, but there's just some big costs in manufacturing if you want to bring out something that's new and unique to the market.
And I guess that's important. I mean, that's from a brand point of view, the bottle shape, particularly for water. I mean, you could show anyone the Perrier bottle without any branding on it and ask them what it was, and I'm sure 9 out of 10 would tell you, at least in the Western world. So bottle shape kind of mission critical, yeah?
Yeah, it is critical. I mean, we've had to lower it down the priority list. There's things we'd like to do with that bottle, but it's just too expensive, and we've got to weigh up why we actually exist, and but it is important.
Okay, so things are starting to happen. Thankyou Water starting to, well, at least this social enterprise that's going to sell water, still a crazy idea in my mind, is taking shape. You've got some mates involved, have you? You've got a groundswell?
Yeah, a couple of close friends, and that was about it. A lot of mentors and people we talked to, they just couldn't get their head around what we were trying to do. They just didn't think it was, going to be possible or worthwhile, or, so... Yeah, it was an interesting moment at the beginning.
Tell me about, let's not talk about the positive. That's far too attractive. Let's talk about the negatives, all those naysayers. Can you remember any in particular who just looked you in the eye and said, Daniel, you're going to university. Daniel, you're going to get a job in corporate.
Yeah, look, there was a lot of interesting conversations. I mean, part of our model was from day one, we wanted to give money to projects. And so we'd set up, our business model was we sell water and all the profits fund water projects. But every person who had any ounce of accounting or finance background or business experience said, no, you cannot do that. Your first 3 to 5 years, you have to keep every cent to reinvest into growth. And then after 5 years, if you're doing good, then you could start giving. And while that makes sense in business circles, small business, if you're around after 5 years and you haven't gone under, that nearly gets you a standing ovation. But my point to these mentors and different people was, that might be the case in business circles, but in the real world, the consumers who buy our product, if I said, hey, it's been 5 years and we did it, we broke even, they'd slap you in the face. So we bought this product so we could actually help people. And so that was a big challenge for us. And then there's obviously the personal challenges of I probably should be putting more time into uni and that sort of thing.
What were you going to study?
I was actually studying project management in construction.
Right.
A little bit of a different degree. I'd been very interested in business, but particularly property development, and thought my life was going that path, and I wanted to have a really good construction understanding.
All right. Let's talk about the solution. You've sat in front of your computer. You've found out there's 900 million people in the world who don't have access to clean water. You're moved into action. You've got a groundswell. You've got some mates. You've got some mentors. Thankyou Water is born.
Yeah.
What is Thankyou Water?
Okay, so Thankyou Water is a social enterprise. We sell bottled water here in Australia. We have a couple of different products, a 600 ml, a 1.5 litre, and we're about to launch a sparkling water. And the way it works is that every bottle sold provides at least 1 month's worth of safe water to someone in need. Each bottle has its own tracker code so that you can track your impact to see the exact project that bottle's been assigned to fund. And really what we are is we are existing to empower you, Tim, and me and everyone else, empower us with the opportunity to do something that we may never have done before. Fund wells, fund filters around the world, but do it in a way that is really accessible to us.
There's so much there. Tell me about, I find that incredible, one bottle of water. I go and buy one bottle of Thankyou Water and it helps a person somewhere over, I'm looking at your website, let's say Cambodia, to have access to clean water for an entire month?
Yeah. Now, Tim, here's the thing, right? The 1 month claim it's almost too big to wrap your head around. I mean, if you were to break that down into litres, the UN say that every person has got to have access to at least 20 litres per day. That's the standard. So if you look at that over a month, you're talking about 600 litres of water, which, sort of blows my mind. But the funny thing is that when we look at it, a lot of our products, when we sell it, we look at it each quarter, every bottle sometimes provides a month and a half, 2 months, in some cases even up to 3 months worth of water. Now, we only claim 1 month, one, because we want to be on the safe side. Two, it's already hard enough to wrap your head around 1 month, let alone anything bigger than that. But it is quite remarkable.
So a bottle of water purchased, is that at retail or wholesale?
Well, we are a wholesaler. So
you're a wholesaler, okay.
Yeah, so you as a consumer buy it from a retailer, but from the margins we make, we cover that 1 month claim.
Unbelievable. Massive. I just can't get my head around it. Like most people probably can't.
Yeah.
Tell me then about the tracking code, because that's really interesting. That's accountability right there. So I buy a bottle of Thankyou Water. It's got a code on it. I go to your website. I'm looking at it now. You've got this little box that says track your impact.
Yeah.
That's where you input your tracker ID, hit track.
Yeah.
How does that work and what happens? Okay,
so Tim, this was an idea that we had in the very early days, and it was another one of those big, bold ideas to link every bottle to a project. And for probably 2.5 years, we couldn't figure out a way to do it. And then just recently, we came across some technology which would help make it happen. And it is the hardest thing that we've ever pulled off, literally, since we launched Thankyou Water. Everyone from our project partners through to the manufacturers, the labeling company, we went to them saying, this is what we're doing. And they're all like, what the heck? Like more reporting, more work. But the reason we push for it, and the reason it's quite expensive to run everything and make it happen, but I feel, and our whole team feels, that there's a disconnect when it comes to changing the world. A lot of people feel almost like a prejudice against it. Like, oh, here we go, another charitable thing. Where's it really going? Am I really making a difference? And so we want to prove it to people and actually win the trust back, particularly of the younger generation in that. So track your impact is sort of our first step in that direction. Every bottle has its own unique code. And if you wonder if that's hard to do, it's a little bit harder than we thought. So every bottle has its own unique code. And you type that into your mobile web app or into the website. And what will pop up is the exact project you're funding. So you get we don't just tell you, okay, it's in this region. We actually break it down to the exact component you fund. So let's say there's in a project in a particular village, there's 10 wells and 200 filters. You'll get the filter number or the well number that you're funding. We give you the village name, then the GPS coordinates of that village, and you get to see that on Google Maps. So you can zoom in and see exactly where the project is that you're funding. And then below that, we give you a breakdown of the issue in that community, the overall impact, and then you can share that on Facebook or Twitter. And by hitting that, you're helping raise awareness for us. And basically what pops up on your newsfeed is that you just bought a bottle of Thankyou Water and funded a particular well or filter in a community, and your friends and family get to see what that's all about. And at the same time, it's huge for us because it's helping spread awareness for our brand.
Massive for you. Gosh, what a big idea. Big idea.
We're taking it one step further as well. I thought I should throw that out there.
Why not?
People are saying to us, well, you just launched Track Your Impact, but our guys are busy building Track Your Impact 2.0. And the idea behind it is you'll have your own login. And so once you've logged in once, every time you track your impact, it saves your history. So we'll graph all the projects around the world that you're funding, which is kind of cool, but it gets a bit better because 6 to 18 months time, when the project is complete, you'll actually get a notification on your phone or computer to say, project's now complete. Here's a final field report and an image proving the project. So it's that full circle because you buy it right then and we say, okay, this is where it's going, this is what's going to happen. But then we come back, a year and a half later and say, okay, now here's the results. And so I feel like that is, people probably won't even remember the bottle they bought and when they track their code.
No, that's the thing. I'm thinking like, okay, so I buy one bottle of water and that helps Kyangon village. I'm looking at your website in Cambodia. Ripper. I've just helped someone get fresh water for 1 month by buying that bottle. But what if I buy 10, 20 bottles? All of a sudden, I may well have 10 or 20 different wells around the world that I'm supporting, yeah?
Yep, correct. So what's important to understand is the margins are very thin in wholesale anywhere, but in bottled water particularly, they're very thin. So the contributions per unit can end up quite small, but I mean, we know it covers at least a month's worth of water. And so, what we're careful about communicating is people don't feel like I bought one bottle and I funded a whole well, because it might take hundreds of bottles or thousands to be on the project. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, what we're giving you as a consumer is the same level of reporting that you would get with the big charities if you were a high net worth donor. But we're bringing that down to you at the $2 whatever purchase mark that you pay for it at the counter.
Now, there's obviously two sides to the Thankyou Water business, Dan. You've got you're a bottled water manufacturer and wholesaler. The other side is you're off over in Cambodia or these third world countries building wells, correct?
Well, correct. I mean, the way that we work though, Tim, is we work through partners. So that's really important in our model, pretty much across the whole business. So in Australia, we partner with some of the best contract manufacturers to make the product, partly because we knew, look, we are not good manufacturers. We can focus on marketing, distribution and sales, partner with people that make great products and work with them to develop it. That's in Australia. But then overseas, we partner with NGOs who have got, really good track records. We're talking 20, 30 years experience in water development.
Right.
And we work with them on a projects-based model. So they submit a project proposal to us. If it meets our criteria, which is really strict, we have financial hurdles. They have to hit sustainability measures and community involvement and a whole bunch of stuff. But if they hit that, we'll fund the project. They then report, and then we visit. And the visit's important because we match up the reporting with the visit, make sure everything is as it is. And if that process goes well, we'll go again. And if it doesn't, we won't. So it's sort of a hardcore donor model in the sense that we are quite hands-on, because we're here telling you just funded this project in Cambodia, but if it doesn't exist or it isn't as it is, then the whole thing falls apart.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk marketing, Dan, because I think it's fascinating. I mean, yes, I was joking before, water's a saturated market, or at least joking using that term, but it is. I mean, anyone who came to me and said, I'm going to start a bottled water company, I just looked them in the eye and go, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, based on what numbers? Now, I get it that yours is a social enterprise, and I get that point of difference of which every other bottled water on the shelf isn't saving the world. Yours is. So I can get that. From my experience, having worked on fast-moving consumer goods in a previous life, getting distribution and then shelf space is tough. So you're in Australia Post, you're in IGA supermarkets, you're in 7-Eleven. You've got good distribution. I don't know what your shelf space is like, but how have you gone about it?
It's a good question, Tim. And look, I'm glad I had no experience in the fast-moving consumer good. Otherwise, we wouldn't have signed up for it. It was a lot harder than we thought. Initially, this is such a good idea, and everyone we talked to from a consumer point of view said, I would definitely buy it. Problem is, at the retail level or the distribution level, no one really cares about your concept. And it's funny because a lot of people would think, okay, because of your concept, it would be easy. Now, we thought that too. The truth is the concept was good, and the concept of Thankyou Water probably got us in the room. It got us that meeting. But after that, it's just uphill. It's proving the model. It's proving marketing spend and all the things that you're going to put into the brand. And, and really everyone in that world is looking at this as a commercial deal, and it's got to add up for them. So we really struggled. For the first 2.5 years, we had no's from everyone. Pretty much everyone. We had a few small
2.5 years.
Yeah, the journey's a bit longer than people realize, but we were very lucky early on to land a deal with Metro Beverage Company, which are the largest private distributor of beverages in Victoria, South Australia, and WA. And when we landed that deal, they took an initial 50,000 unit order, which was unbelievable. And they started rolling that out into cafes and independent outlets. But apart from them, every retailer pretty much said no. And, we'd work with retailers for months on end. And we had a few pretty pretty disappointing things happen. I remember 2 retailers who liked the concept said no, and that was probably after 6 to 8 months of working with. Came out with their own bottle that went to funding wells and water projects.
Oh, name and shame, please.
I don't do it, Tim.
I do.
I know. Look, we don't name and shame just because, look, at the end of the day, they're doing a good thing. The way they went about it, it didn't feel great to us, but when they're a bigger fish to fry. You'll like this one. We met with, you know how there's 2 supermarkets in this country and one's green and one's red?
Yep.
I won't tell you the colour just yet, but actually I probably won't tell you the colour. But in 2009, the guy said, look, you are dreaming. This, like, love your passion. Industry is too big. Coca-Cola dominated with Mount Franklin and all that. And he gave us a rundown and said, basically, you know, good luck, but you won't get any shelf space here. And we worked back and forward for the next literally 12 months with them, and got them to the point in January 2010 where they said, congratulations, you're in national range. That was a huge win for us. We were pumped. And about 3 weeks later, when they said the first orders had come through, we call up to see what's happening. A new buyer had taken over. Even though we had the commitment, they said, well, that's an old commitment. We won't be taking the product. We've got the big brands. We've got our own brand. End of story. It's 2.5. That was at the 2-year mark. We had other big retailers do some similar stuff. And really, we got a taste of some of the bigger competitors probably not liking the thought of us getting into the market in a big way.
Did these punches, and they're king hits more than punches, Dan, did they make you stronger? Or there was a moment where you've gone, nah, this is way too hard?
Look, to be honest, yeah, you feel like this is too hard. It's all over. You know, I even remember, I mean, that's the retail journey, but we even, from a business model point of view, we had distributors going bankrupt on us, owing us thousands. We had our first supplier, couldn't keep up supply. We lost 90% of our business over 5 weeks, and we lost about 20 grand in our cash reserves, and all these different moments along the journey. It felt too hard. It just was like, it was crazy. And particularly me personally, I'm like, we're just trying to help people. How is this so hard? Luckily, I had some good mentors, you know, and people around me who said, look, this is actually normal business. This is what every startup goes through, setback after setback. You know, you're no different to them. And I suppose having a good team around the vision, and also something that we really believed in, helped us push through each time.
So then you start to get these orders, Australia Post, IGA, 7-Eleven. Yep. That must feel good.
Yeah, it does. It felt very, very good. I mean, Australia Post is a random one. People sort of say, didn't know they sell water. And that's correct. For their 200-year history, they've never stocked a consumable product. And so it took us 2.5 years of working with them before it got over the line. But we're the first drink that they've ever stocked. And we're the only drink in there as well. So there's 1,000 stores that we're in. 1 million people every day are in the queue. And we are right next to that, or pretty much in that queue. So big for us.
Tell me, from a marketing perspective and branding, like you touched on something before, which I think is really interesting, and I want to know how you overcome it. Thankyou Water's on the shelf. It's a big idea. There's no doubt it's a big idea. When people hear the idea, they go, that's an ace idea. I get it. But how do you, at that moment, that point of purchase where someone's standing in front of the water aisle, there's 10, 20 brands sitting there.
Yeah.
How does your packaging, beyond the name, which is an interesting name, but I'm not sure people go, Thankyou Water, I'll look into that a bit further.
Yeah.
How do you communicate it within, we're talking milliseconds.
Yeah. Look, it's a tough one, Tim. And I suppose what we did with our packaging, this whole idea of thank you was really, you know, we wanted someone to be looking at it and going, is that bottle thanking me? Like, what the heck? Almost like intrigue. Like, what is that? Hopefully draw someone in. We also did something quite different. You've probably seen our bottle now. The label is black. It's a matte black. Now, if you think water, you think, okay, what color should our label be? It should be like blue and white and really sort of that kind of angle. But we wanted to cut through that. And look, whether we did it in the best way or not, we definitely cut through. We definitely had something that sticks right out in the fridge, definitely compared to all the other waters there. And so we've had some good feedback around people feeling they're buying a premium product. They picked up the bottle and then they turned around and saw they were changing the world, and that was remarkable. A big part of our story and journey is, that word of mouth marketing, so that people understand the concept before they go into the store. But we also have point of sale marketing in the store, so little wobblers or fridge stickers that have, either a photo from the field or we have our 1 month claim big and bold. Those are the sorts of things that help get it across the line in those few milliseconds.
Why wouldn't you go and be so overt? Because your branding's quite bold. Why wouldn't you occupy a bit more of that label and say, buy this bottle and you'll give water to one person for 1 month in a third world country or something like that?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you just be completely overt about it?
Look, I suppose our branding guys, I trust them. They are very good. And Justine, who's our head of marketing, she works with our designers and they wanted something that, is a sort of hopefully a desired product. They've gone for quite a minimalist design. It says 600 mils of life-changing Thankyou Water. And it's very subtle, but, I suppose we want a brand that isn't just around for a few months, gets everyone grabbing it, and then they don't want to carry it anymore because they feel like they're almost like the charity elements too in your face. I think that's a very typical angle with a lot of charitable marketing. It's very bold, which does get an element of cut through, but it probably doesn't get that long-term commitment to a brand.
Fair enough.
That's our thoughts behind it. So, yeah, look, we're not perfect. We've got a long way to go, but it seems to be working definitely from a sales perspective at the moment.
Listeners, I'm talking to Daniel Flynn, who's the founder of Thankyou Water. Dan, how marketing? Well, we've talked about marketing to a point, but I'm guessing that from my experience with FMCG products, you have to say to the retailer, here's the marketing program for the next 12 months.
Yeah.
Here's the booked media. Here's the publicity we've got sorted out. Here's what we're doing online. We've got a Google AdWords whatever.
Yeah.
I'm guessing there's not a whole lot of dough to put behind a big advertising campaign. So what other marketing are you doing besides your word of mouth and your point of sale?
Okay, so this is interesting. Social media has been very big for us. From day one, we wanted to build an online community that really support the brand and are behind it. And that grew naturally pretty well. But you're right. Every meeting we sat in, the buyers and these category managers, they're just saying, okay, but what's your media spend? And where's your $3 million ad campaign? And we're just looking back at them going, well, if we had $3 million, man, we'd be building a lot more wells. It just was bizarre. So after 2.5 years of getting knockbacks from everyone, literally everyone, and nothing seeming to really break us through in that retail market, we did something very bold. We took a risk that some brands wouldn't take, but we felt it was a very calculated risk. We'd weighed up a lot of the possibilities, and so what we did is we ran a social media campaign to help prove the strength in the brand. And so we launched a video on Facebook along with some campaign marketing material, and we said 2 weeks from today, on the 4th of July. Now this is back in 2010. We are presenting to 7-Eleven Australia. Now, we don't want to just walk in there and tell them we think this is a good idea. We want them to understand that there's a movement behind it. And so we're asking you today, would you post a video or even just a post up onto their Facebook wall to say, 7-Eleven, if you stock this product, I'd buy it. Now, we launched that at 10 a.m. on a Wednesday morning. I think by about 4 or 5 o'clock that afternoon, they had about 400 posts on their Facebook wall. Now, they usually got 4 to 5 a day at that time. So it's big. And we teed up with that a really good media hit. We had the project lined up to do a 5.5-minute feature story on us that night. And so that was all part of the campaign concept. Now, the project said to us, look, we love your campaign, but we can't plug it. It's a little bit controversial. You don't usually announce this sort of stuff. But right at the end, Carrie Bickmore says, hey, everyone, head to Facebook. There's a petition. And it went mental. People start uploading of them singing, dancing, rapping to show their support. It was hilarious. There's a clip on our website which shows it. But the support was amazing. And from there, I think MX picked up on the story, Nova Radio, about 6 other state-based radio.
Yeah, great. So social media is just fundamental to your. It's a key pillar of your marketing strategy.
Big time. And
Facebook seems to be. You've got 40,000+ likes on Facebook.
Yep.
You use it in a kind of very Gen Y way, Dan. I'm not sure what that means, but it's kind of like, look, there's no sales pitch. You've got a whole lot of motivational quotes.
Yeah.
You've got updates on, sharing a happy birthday with a staff member, or the fact that you won that award, or you've got, it's just a kind of, it's kind of a peaceful Facebook, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, we know that people, a lot of people don't want to be sold to all the time. So we're not posting buy our product, or do this. We do have call to actions, which are quite strategic, but we keep them very rare because.
Like what?
Well, for example, this campaign, get behind the campaign, and we wouldn't do something like this unless it was really needed. We did something recently after this campaign, once 7-Eleven launched the product, and I can go back to that story in a minute, but we ran the thank you campaign, and we asked fans to help us say 3 million thank yous, one for every bottle that's ever been sold, because at that moment we were at 3 million. And over this month, we hit over 3 million thank yous. I think we got to like 3.6 million, but fans were going out, recording themselves, like thanking just strangers. We did a few stunts ourselves. People were posting thank you notes on their Facebook page. They shared our thank you ad that we had done that got, thousands of views and shared hundreds of times. And so we really use Facebook social media to be that campaign sort of launch opportunity. And also we update people with, here's what's happening in the projects, here's a photo from the field, and I think I just love the thought of someone bought a bottle, they're looking at their Facebook feed, they got the bottle in their hand, and up comes a photo from Kenya or Cambodia. You get to see and feel like, okay, I get the link.
Yeah. So social media, have you got any other, are there any other channels besides Facebook that are really critical to the brand? Twitter, Pinterest, YouTube?
Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube are sort of the other three that we're really focus on. Nothing is taken off as big as Facebook. I mean, YouTube is great. It hosts a lot of what we do, and we're really trying to grow that and sort of link all our different networks sort of in through each other. But yeah,
do you advertise?
We don't. No, we don't do much advertising. I mean, we've done a couple of little things and trialed a few things, but we've steered clear from advertising and really focus on what's going to generate word of mouth. What can we do to get some free media and some press? We did have a TV ad. I will say that ran over this summer just gone, but that was pretty incredible. Channel 9 and Foxtel actually donated the space for that ad. So, that was advertising. It didn't cost us anything to do it, but definitely good for the brand.
I noticed there's a World Water Day. Is that something you guys started?
No. No, that would be good if we did. But
well, I've had 2 previous guests. One started Work in the Nude Day for solopreneurs. The other one started National Porridge Day. I've heard of National Tracky Dax Day.
Love it.
So, but the National Water Day, that's something that's at a global level, is it?
Yeah, it's a global level, and that was started by the UN. I'm pretty sure it was the UN years ago.
Right.
But look, we celebrate it. It's all part of, growing what we do. And there's lots of people who need to be involved to solve the world water crisis. So not just us.
Dan, brilliant story, mate. A good segue to finish on. My listeners, as I said to you before coming on, they're all small business owners. I'm sure there's some big business owners, and I know there's media that listen to this show as well.
Yeah.
Obviously, we can all go and buy. We can choose to buy Thankyou Water instead of Mount Franklin at each time. Anything else that you'd love done, maybe at a business level?
Yeah.
Are there introductions required? I don't know. Is there anything that sort of comes to mind on the spot? Yeah,
look, distribution's still big, Tim. We've got 3,000 outlets that stock the water, but there are literally tens of thousands more. So if you know anyone, or if you are an outlet that stocks water or sells it in any way, our guys would love to hear from you, and you can contact us at our website, thankyouwater.org. So that's a big one. The other thing is, Tim, and I can't say too much around this, but in about 2.5 months' time, we are yeah, we're doing something pretty special. And, I'd love people to be sort of looking out for that. It'll be announced on Facebook. And it'll just be the next step, I suppose, in our brand evolution and really growing this whole concept in Australia. So
you're going to have to give us a bit more than that, my friend.
Well, let me just say, it's going to be very unique. So, something that certainly has never happened in Australia and from what we can see, anything in the world. But a lot of people have said to us since day one, gee, this Thankyou Water thing could work for more than just water.
Yeah, right.
Now, let me just leave it there, and everything's seriously confidential until then. But when we launch about 2.5 months' time, watch this space.
Okay, well, just so listeners, because podcasting is generally not time sensitive.
Yeah.
This is April 2013.
Yeah.
If people check into thankyouwater.org, you can or facebook.com/Thankyou Water. In probably June 2013.
July. Let's talk July. And cool. I think it'll be a bit of fun.
Love it. Hey Dan, well done. Well done to you and your team for having the guts, the courage, the determination, the business fitness, mate, to persevere and get this baby humming, because I think it's brilliant, and want to be able to support you in any way possible.
Thanks, Tim. Appreciate it.
Well, team, I hope you enjoyed that interview as much as I did putting it together. You can't help but be inspired by people like Daniel. As I said at the top, file that one under moments of inspiration. If you're wondering what you're doing, if you need a kick up the bum, just go back and have a listen to what Dan's doing. 3 learnings from it, from mine, and, 3, wow, there's a hell of a lot more than that, but just 3 things that come to mind. Courage, this concept of business courage, doing what you love. We hear about it a lot. It's cliched, but sit back and have a think about what that means in regards to what you're doing with your business. Are there things that you absolutely love? Are there things that you don't love? I think we all need the courage to maybe call ourselves on how we go about running our business, or, dare I say, are we in the business that we really, really love? Are we in it for the right reasons? Dan, I reckon, is going to be there for a long time, because I don't think it's a business to him. It's his passion. He's not kind of waking up in the morning and going, here we go again. He would be bouncing out of bed, probably cross that he has to go to sleep. Number 2, accountability. That whole concept of being accountable is a really interesting concept. And Dan, he's got all that GPS stuff happening and tracking, and that idea of being accountable for any business, again, is really interesting. Don't think it necessarily means do you have to offer guarantees in everything you do, but stand by what it is you offer, I think, is a really strong part of your marketing proposition. Number 3, ask for help. Dan asked us if we can help him get distribution. I hope we can. Go to Thankyou Water and get in contact with Dan. Feel free to contact us at smallbusinessbigmarketing.com. Hit the contact button, send us a voice message. If you can get Thankyou Water into any additional outlets around Australia, that would be a great result for the show, and obviously for Dan and Thankyou Water. So don't be afraid to ask for help. When people do offer that, I think often we just acknowledge, oh yeah, thanks, yeah, I'll let you know. Maybe just stop and think, okay, that person's asking or offering to help us in some way. Maybe I'll take them up on it. Don't be proud. Okay, almost at the end. Guys, the Small Business Big Marketing Forum is rocking along. Go to smallbusinessbigmarketing.com and click on the forum button. Some great stuff. I've just uploaded the 90-minute keynote I gave in Vietnam recently. That's in the classroom section. Some great discussions around the water cooler, around how to hire a copywriter. There's an Instagram discussion, how to use Instagram in your marketing. One of the members is starting a travel agent in Dublin, and he's asking for some marketing strategies there. So some great discussion there. It's $49 a month. I'm in there every day. It's an opportunity for us to continue the marketing conversation in between episodes of your favorite marketing show, which is this. That is all Lots of great interviews coming up over the coming weeks. Really, really good ones. I'll keep it secret. Suffice to say that the guests are just getting bigger. All right, guys, smallbusinessbigmarketing.com is where you'll find this show and a whole lot of other marketing goodies for small business. Until next time, may your marketing be great marketing. See ya.
You've been listening to the Small Business Big Marketing Show with Tim Reid. Want more marketing goodness? Then visit smallbusinessbigmarketing.com.